One of the first steps in putting this boat together, the Haven 12.5, is to build a strongback. An example of that is given in Greg Russell's book, Building Small Boats. And there's a picture of it, along with a picture of the frame. And a good example of this was given by in the Art of Boat Building. Here's an example from Art of Boat Building showing the finished product, and my goal is to come up with something very similar to this. So it turns out this side is okay. So I just got to put a clamp, loosen the other half the bolts on the screws on the other side, and hopefully it'll close up. So I'm going to try just putting these screws back into their same holes. I'm not sure this is going to work, but we'll see. Oh, and yes, that red spot is my blood. Woodworking and blood thinners don't mix. That could use a pinch too, but I'm going to let her declare victory and move on. This is board number 2. The left side is good. That's on the 8-footer. And this is pretty flat across this, but there's a little bit of a step, and I'll probably use the other side. But I'm going to close this one up first before going on to the other one, the other side. And closed up, nice and tight again. That one closed up, but it was not happy. I had to really crank on that. But there we are. Our 12-footers. Now we move on to the next phase of this. Trimming the planks on this end, say their name. They were cut by the supplier, and they weren't cut as precisely as I would have had I done it myself, but they fit in my car, and that's what's important. So a notch for pine boards to run down the center. So the first order of business should be cleaning up this mess, but we'll get to it in a bit. It's trimming these 3 planks, and then putting the clamps on with these boards turned over, so they'll all be at the same level, and then marking and cutting. So just as a precaution, I've gone ahead and clamped down the end of the board down there, and I have got just a tiny trim cut to do, which is a pain in the neck, but here it goes. Well, this is the face I want to make my cut into. I turn the whole thing over with the clamps, flatten them, and then put the clamps down nice and tight and flip the whole thing back over. So I'm cutting the surface that I want, and the boards are basically at the same level. Nice straight line at the center, just a 16 shy of 48 inches. And there's an old piece of shelf. And I promise the next time I'll have cleaned up the driveway. I have to, because I got to lay this stuff out. So anyway, now is to mark this to fit that board, cut it, and I'm going to try to cut out as much as possible and not fiddle around with chisels and planes and bears. Oh my, I don't have time for that. So we'll just let the saw run for a while, see what happens. That was the saw that I was going to use to cut the cross pieces, but I was having trouble with it. So I used this one, a piece of junk that I got from my father-in-law. And shortly after I started cutting, the blade slipped. And let's kind of do it from this side. It's a mess, so we're gonna have to clean that up and do who knows what. First newbie error with the old man. Be impatient. So I'm doing exactly what I'd hoped to avoid, spending a bunch of time cleaning up this mess here. Right now, the plan is to clean up some of this and put in each strip a piece of plywood across some portion to space this up. So that's needs a little trimming, but it will be functional. I was just going to put a little piece each place, but I'm actually going to have to screw into this for 45-degree struts to hold the molds up. So I can't avoid cleaning this mess up, and I will do so. Oh, it's a couple days after Christmas 2024, and I've taken my old saw on the right and my new toy on the left and ground the middle out. Just put a line across the bottom and on both sides, planed the middle out, ground the right-hand side out with the saw, and coming in from the other direction. And now I will cut some pieces out of this scrap, and that will solve the problem, hopefully. This was the leftovers for a hut that was built for a generator. And my wife always asked me, why did you keep this stuff? Well, now you know. There we go. Our 8+1 spacers that will go in the bottom of those cutouts to fit those boards. And I'll put those in place after I get those in place with the 12-footers. More later. Oh, yes, the hose is still here. After all these plans of gluing and doing all sorts of fancy stuff, putting screws in, gluing it, putting screws in to hold it, taking the screws out, I'm just putting screws in without glue. They're just spacers, and when I put the plank that runs down the center of the Strongback, I will simply stay away from the 1 inch on either side. So this task is done. You'll notice the things have been spaced out. Because I was planning to put epoxy in there. I didn't want to glue the boards together, but that went by the wayside. Probably was helpful to have some room to adjust these things as I was doing the final install. Once it warms up a little bit, I'll be able to put this thing together, and once the molds are done, we can start putting the molds onto the Strongback. But that's going to have to wait for warmer weather. TTFN. Yes, and there are the 12 footers for the Strongback. And then the pointy piece in the front is going to be made up of those, out of those 6 footers there. And then we've got casters, 8 locking casters, swivel and lock casters. Also, if in case we need them, braces for the cross members. The question is how to build up the how to stand up the Strongback, because it has to be 8 inches off the ground so that this will clear to get under the frame and pick up the boat. I mean, this is a 2-ton, it's 2.25-ton hoist. Even at full extension, it'll do over 1,000 pounds. So I need to get another one of these puppies, and if that doesn't work, we'll build a set of gantries to fit under the canopy.